So, I am not sure about your opinion on Elton John, but I think he is working for the Russians, because the Russians wanted to go to the moon, and he made the song, Rocket Man. The rocket in that song is obviously referring to the race to space that occurred between the Americans and Russians, or as we called them, Soviets or Ruskies. The Soviets wanted to go to space, and Elton John describes space as cold as hell. Hell is not cold, which makes the statement seem kind of weird, but that is not the focus at this moment. With such radical gusto, Elton John has described to us the prison cell in which he is trapped in, which must be in Siberia, where the Americans would most likely look last due to it being cold as hell. See what happened there? I described it as cold as hell, which is what Elton described space as in his song. Really, I do not believe this at all. He must be somewhere else. Jamaica is the place, because it is hot. The place he was in space was described as cold as hell, and we have conducted a theory that he could be in Siberia, but due to the irony of that statement, he is obviously trying to use reverse psychology on us. He would be in Jamaica, because it is such a hidden place to the Americans. They would expect him to be in Cuba, because it was communist like the USSR. The communism is not the key. The key is finding Elton, and he is obviously in Jamaica, because it is hot unlike Siberia, and it was not communist like Cuba. It is a case of the classic bait and switch. The bait and switch was used to draw something or someone into a trap, where the person performing the act would then go into the perfect attacking position. The commies would lead the American Secret Service into Cuba, where they would attack them from all angles, then they will escape the retaliating Americans on boats on their way to Jamaica to secure the prison that they made for Elton John. That would never happen though, because it didn't happen. Crazy world we're living in, isn't it? I am personally scared of the Illinois State Police taking the gummy bear supply from Uganda. I know that it is out of their conforming territory of influence, but the attack on their gummy bear supply can still be done. It would be scary. There will be chemical warfare, mosquitoes, and gummy snacks in the shapes of bears in different appealing colors that make people feel like consuming. Consuming is what most people do to food when they are eating it and not throwing it into lakes. The color orange has never hurt anyone, but do you know what has? That is right. The Salem witch trials hurt people. The Salem witch trials killed 19 people, if I remember correctly. The people of Salem, Massachusetts, were so scared of witches that they decided to kill a bunch of people. Killing people is morally wrong, unless if these people are witches, then you can just go ahead and take them out of their misery. It is kind of messed up, but can you really blame these Puritans? You can't. They did it out of fear, and I have a strong feeling that John Adams, the second president of the United States of America, would agree, because he thought that the British sentry had the right to open fire on the colonists during the Boston Massacre.